Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Minding My Mental Health. I am Tenitria Williams, licensed professional counselor, and I am excited that you are here. So, I want to just welcome everybody to our broadcast. I'm going to jump over to Instagram to get us started on the live on Instagram. So, let me get started on IG. Give me 1 second. If you guys are watching, you know what I want you to do. I want you to hashtag live. Let us know where you are watching from, meaning your state or your city. Let me know. And be happy to see where everybody's watching us from. Okay, I can't get the Instagram for whatever reason. Don't know what's going on there. So again, hashtag share this broadcast to your page, to your stories. I'm going to do the same, share it to groups that I am a part of. So today's topic, I think is something really important. I'm excited about it. I'm going to share this to some groups. It's being a little slow. Okay. If you're joining again, hashtag let me know where you're watching from. Tag friends, tag families. Today we're going to be talking about the power of discipline, or actually the role of discipline in the healing process, right? Okay. So we're talking about the role of discipline in the healing process. I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump on. I usually have my phone with me so I can share and tag, but I'm having to do everything through the computer today because my children are using the phone as a timer for their math homework today. So, okay, give me just 1 second. All right. Okay, so we're here. Hey, Ivy, welcome, welcome. Again, I know it's taking a little bit of time for me to kind of get started today, but I'm ready to roll. So last week we talked about discipline. I'm sorry, we talked about forgiveness in healing, right? So the role of forgiveness in healing. I see a couple people. Go ahead and tag your friends, tag your family members. Share this to your story, share this to your page. I think this is a very important thing for us to learn. We're talking about the role of discipline in healing. And again, last week we talked about the role of forgiveness in healing. I got a lot of feedback from last week's broadcast. If you were blessed, or if you were able to see last week's broadcast, go ahead and put a 1 in the comments. Let me know how that helped you. Also, if you didn't watch it, I encourage you to go back and watch last week's broadcast, because forgiveness is one of those topics that oftentimes there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of misconceptions about forgiveness. And what we did last week was kind of break it down to ways that forgiveness is beneficial, and we tore down some misconceptions about forgiveness. And today we're going to talk about the role of discipline in healing. This is one of those topics you don't hear a lot about, but I'm starting to see more and more. And then when we're talking healing, I'm not specifically talking about physical healing, right? I'm talking about emotional, mental health kind of healing, but I think it works for physical healing as well. So again, last week we talked about forgiveness. I encourage you to go back and watch that broadcast. I see you guys joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Share, tag your friends, share this to your page, all of those good things. So today we're going to talk about the role of discipline in the healing journey. Healing is the freedom from injury or disease, whether that's emotional, mental, or physical. Discipline, and here's the definition we're going to use for discipline today. Discipline is doing what needs to be done. Sounds very simple, right? Discipline is doing what needs to be done. Discipline is being proactive and making a decision and aligning your actions with those decisions despite the many opportunities to quit. I'm going to read that again because I think it's really powerful and I want us to hear that. Discipline is being proactive, making decisions, aligning your actions with those decisions despite the many opportunities to quit. So discipline and integrity go hand in hand. When we are disciplined, we do what we say we're going to do. We do that for ourselves and we do that with others. A lot of people do that with others. So if I tell you I'm going to meet you somewhere at 8 o'clock, I'm going to meet you somewhere at 8. I'm going to meet you at that place at 8 o'clock. If I say I'm going to buy that for you, I'm going to buy that for you. A lot of us have integrity when it comes to keeping our word to other people. Many of us do not have the same level of integrity with ourselves because we lack the discipline. And the reason we lack the discipline is because we've never sat down to see the role of discipline through our healing process. A part of discipline, of course, is consistency. How many of you have ever said, I always start doing right, but I just don't stay consistent. I struggle with consistency. Consistency is my problem. If you've ever said that, go ahead and put a comment in there. So consistency used to be my problem. We're going to talk about that today. Consistency is staying committed to the work required to get to the goal, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is staying committed to the work required to get to the goal, even when you don't feel like it. So if you are on a healing journey and you realize, for example, hey, I've really neglected myself, and I don't know how many times I have clients, and this is something I see often with my clients. They come in and they say, for so long, I have put myself on the back burner and I put everybody else's needs in front of mine. And so now they're so deflated, have so many feelings of defeat, worn down, exhausted emotionally, financially, mentally. They are tired, really exhausted, right? And so now they're ready to heal. And they say, I have to start taking care of myself and put self-care as a priority. And they will go and get one massage and then they stop. Well, consistency says, I realize that I neglected myself. So in order to heal, I'm going to have to be committed to doing the self-care activities all the time. Hey, Tracy. Hey, beautiful. So if I'm on a healing journey and I realize I've neglected myself, it was not healing, or I was not healing the right way. I wasn't getting enough rest. I didn't stay committed to therapy. I wasn't feeding my body healthy foods. All of those things are signs that I'm neglecting myself. Well, discipline says that I stay committed to therapy, even when I feel better. I stay committed to eating healthy, even when my body starts to shift and look better. I stay committed to getting rest, even when I wake up a couple days and I feel rested. Oftentimes what happens is we'll do it until we get better, until we get relief. We don't get full healing. We get just a little bit of relief. And then we will stop the thing that helps us to get to the actual destination or the actual goal that we're trying to get to. In this case, we're talking about healing, right? And so if you say, I'm going to feed my body healthy foods, that doesn't mean you do it until vacation and then you stop. It is a commitment to that decision, right? You have to stay committed to eating right, even when you want to go off the rails. You have to stay committed to getting rest, even when you want to binge watch all of the shows. Consistency does not necessarily mean you have to do something every single day, but it means that it is a part of your regular routine and your norm. Right. So when we're talking about consistency, it doesn't mean you can't ever skip something, right? It doesn't mean I consistently work out. That does not mean that I work out every single day. It is a part of my norm to work out, which means I typically work out 3 to 4 times a week consistently, right? So if someone were to ask me, do you consistently work out? Yes, I consistently work out. Do I work out every single day? I do not work out every single day. So I don't want us to put too much pressure on ourselves and feel like consistency means I have to do something every single day. But it does mean it is a part of my routine. It is a part of my norm. And I have typically a systematic way of doing things. And so for me, my system is 3 or 4 times a week. There are certain days that I'm probably going to always hit. I'm going to make sure that I hit on Mondays, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I may do a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, but I'm still going to make sure that I at least get those 3 days in and get some walks in between those workouts at the gym. Right. So that is consistently working out, even though it's not every single day. So I do want to make sure that we don't have people feeling pressure that consistency has to be every single day. So that means if you say I consistently eat right, that doesn't mean you can't ever have a piece of cake. That doesn't mean you can't ever you know, have the meal that you like. But consistently means more than not, I am eating in a healthy way. I am consistently making choices that are healthy for my body. So when we're talking consistency, I want us to understand that doesn't mean you don't ever do something that to deviate, but it does mean that it is a part of your lifestyle. So discipline also says that you stay committed when things are going well, but also when things are going bad. Often we get help when things are really, really bad, right? When things are bad, I see it all the time with clients. They will come in if their marriage is in a crisis, baby. They will call me. Can you get me in this week? Preferably today. Well, I'm booked today. What you got in the morning? They are ready because they feel like something in their life is in a crisis mode. We may have about 2 sessions and things improve. And you know what? I may not see them for another 6 weeks or another 2 or 3 months. And then they'll come and say, oh, we need a session. Well, that's understandable. But what you're doing is you're just getting a fix. Consistency and discipline says, even when things start to improve, I keep going consistently because I understand that that is what's going to actually bring the real change. We do it all the time. And I've definitely been not a victim, a person who do this, a perpetrator, I guess you could say, of doing, getting ready for a vacation. And you're like, I'm going to eat right. And so we get our bodies to the place where we want to take those pictures and we think we look good for a vacation. And as soon as vacation is over, we're like, okay. But then guess what? Another vacation comes. And so we have to run, right? Discipline says whether I'm getting ready for a vacation or not, I'm going to eat right and treat my body well, whether I'm doing this or not. Now, I know I'm using physical examples, but I want you to think about this in the emotional state as well. You are feeling good. You finally broke up with that broke out of that relationship that wasn't healthy. And now you're like, oh, I feel free. Don't stop doing the work just because you feel good, because there's a lot of stuff that probably needs to be dug up as to the things that happened to you and how you responded and how you interpreted some of those things. And so continue to stay committed to doing the work. Don't stop in the middle. Discipline helps us with healing because it creates a strong foundation of strength and reliability. Think about that for a moment. When you are reliable and disciplined, you have more confidence. I am confident that I am going to continue to work out because I have been disciplined or consistent with it for a while now. And so is you just going to stop working out? No, I have zero desire even to stop working out because it now created a confidence that I know I can do it consistently. Discipline helps us to create habits and systems that provide structure for our lives. Discipline helps to create habits and systems that provide structure for our lives. Y'all let me know if this is helping. We're going to get into some things that block discipline in just a moment. When most of us hear discipline, however, we think about punishment or we think of something negative. If you hear, oh, we got to have some discipline, we automatically go, oh, I don't like discipline. Discipline sounds so harsh. Discipline sounds like I'm not able to enjoy things. I want to give you a meaning that helps to reframe discipline for you. And you can actually put it in the comment. I would like to give you this powerful reframe of discipline from punishment to, listen, making conscious choices to aid me in getting to my desired destination. That's the definition I want us to use. Discipline is making conscious choices to aid me in getting to my desired destination. Now, that doesn't sound bad, does it? When we think about sacrifice and suffering and not eating the cake, that sounds like it's robbing us of something. But when we reframe it and we see it as this is conscious choices helping me to get to actually where I want to be, well, then discipline doesn't sound so bad. In fact, we embrace discipline. Go ahead and put that in the comment as well. I embrace discipline. So healing, transformation, and freedom are all byproducts of discipline. Healing, transformation, and freedom are byproducts of discipline. So if discipline is such a good thing, why is it that so many people push against discipline, right? Let's talk about some discipline blockers. What are some things that may be blocking you from living a more disciplined life? Number one, the lack of clear goals. the lack of clear goals. Okay. Without clear goals, it is difficult to commit to a path because you keep changing your mind about what you actually want. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Without clear goals, it is difficult to commit to a path because you keep changing your mind about what you actually want. So, if for example, if you say, I want to save $10,000 this year, that's my clear goal. And then you go, nah, I don't really want to save that much. I really rather travel a lot. That's my goal. I'm going to travel a lot, right? So you save up and you save up about $4,000 and you go, I got enough to take that trip. I'm going to take that trip. You take that trip and you enjoy it and you go, oh, that was so good, but I spent way too much money. I got to be committed. I need to save this $10,000. And so you save up again and you go, yes, I'm doing well. I got $5,000 saved. And then you go, but hey, you only live one time. What am I saving up all that money for? I need to take another trip. Book me to Mexico. Boom. You go on another trip. You're at Greece. You're at Paris. You're in Rome. You're flying around the world. So it's hard to actually hit the goal because you're not clear on what your goal is. Now, if you say my goal is to save $10,000 and have 3 trips, cool. You can know how to divide your energy and how to do that. But if you don't have a clear goal, you're going to keep going back and forth and you're not going to accomplish any of your goals because they are not clear enough. Many times we say things, you guys have all heard of SMART goals, meaning they need to be specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and time sensitive. We don't make SMART goals when we are creating our goals. Therefore, we just kind of do things aimlessly because we don't have a clear destination. A clear destination helps us to know which path to take. If I currently live in Little Rock, Arkansas. If I am trying to get to New York, there is a certain direction that I have to travel, right? If I know that's where I'm going, someone can tell me the direction to travel and how to get there. But if I say, I just want to go to a big city, you can give me directions in the opposite direction. I can still hit a big city. So you have to be clear because clarity is going to help you give direction to where you're going. So the lack of clear goals is a blocker for discipline. Number 2, the lack of routine. The lack of routine. Without a routine, you have to figure things out over and over again, and you waste a lot of time and energy. This has been one that I really struggled with, right? Lack of routine. People would say, you need to meal prep. And I go, I don't really have time to do that. But guess what? When it's time to eat right, my husband says I'm cooning. Meaning he says I go in and I'll go in the pantry like a little raccoon, and I'm just looking for stuff like what to eat, because there's not a specific routine of what I'm going to eat. So I waste time, I waste energy when I don't have a clear routine of what I'm going to do. But if I say, you know what, for lunch I'm going to have a protein shake, this, and this. I'm going to do that every day this week. That's a routine, right? And I've developed and I know how to get it. So if you ask him, what are you going to eat? My husband will typically say, I'm going to eat a protein and a vegetable. The vegetable is most likely going to be a salad, and the protein may be some chicken or some fish or something he's already cooked. Right. It's routine. So when you say, what are you going to eat? He already knows it's not a waste of time. So you have to develop a routine to help you stay consistent with discipline. The more that I have seen that in his life, the more I recognize the lack of it in my life, and the more I've had to tighten up to say, this is what I'm going to have to do in order to do that. Even working out. Part of my routine is getting my clothes out the night before. Why? Because I already don't want to get up super early. And so I need to have a routine that helps me if I don't want to have to search for, fumbling around trying to find socks in the dark because I don't want to turn the lights on because it's super early. Trying to do these things. If I lay everything out, that's a part of my routine. So it helps me to get going. All right. So lack of routine allows other things to come and steal our time. If you don't have a routine, it is real easy for something else to come in and jump in there and help you. If I say one of these and you recognize that it is one of your blockers to discipline, put that in the comment. Just put that in the comment and then put the word ouch behind it. Number three, these again, a blocker for discipline is poor emotion management. Poor emotion management. When you cannot process uh, your emotions in a healthy way, you can become driven by emotions. And when emotions are a driving force in your life, you are usually not making rational or very logical decisions. You're being driven by emotion, which means, so again, let's go back to um, the even what we talked about last week, which is forgiveness, right? So forgiveness says, or we talked about forgiveness is a choice, and we stay committed to that decision. Well, if we're driven by our emotions, every time that person does something that hurts us, or that triggers us to think about something they've done to us in the past, we may forget all about that decision, and we start behaving in a way that aligns with our emotions of anger or frustration or sadness. So we cannot be emotionally driven. Emotions are not bad. Emotions are a locator. They help to show us where we are in situation. They help to add color to life, right? So if you've ever experienced something and you're laughing so hard, you're crying, you appreciate those emotions, right? So emotions are not a bad thing. However, they are not supposed to be the driving force for our lives. Discipline, emotionally driven people are usually not very disciplined people, because emotions dictate their actions instead of being dictated by their commitment to their decision. Okay. So the first one was the lack of clear goals. The second one was the lack of routine. The third one was poor emotion management. Number four, your comfort zone. Number four is your comfort zone. Staying in what is familiar to you keeps you from pushing past the discomfort of discipline. Discipline may not always be comfortable, but it is powerful. Staying in that what is familiar will keep you from getting or pushing past the discomfort of discipline. Okay. It is okay to be uncomfortable. I know we don't like to hear that, but it is okay to be uncomfortable. I don't mean distraught. I don't want anybody I mean uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Meaning this is not my norm, so it feels a little bit odd. It feels a little bit weird. Have you ever tried to brush your teeth with the opposite hand? It's not wrong, but it feels weird, right? Sometimes we don't do things because it simply feels weird or it feels uncomfortable to us. But in order for us to really grow, we're going to have to get outside of our comfort zone. When working with people who struggle with addiction, one of the phrases that we often hear and use is that you have to learn to live life on life's terms. What does that mean? This saying comes from, you have to learn to work through discomfort without looking for the easy way out. You have to learn to work through the discomfort without looking for the easy way out. And by easy way, I don't necessarily mean it actually feels easy, but it's the comfortable way out for you. So if you've always gotten drunk or used drugs, again, going to the example of addiction, if you've always relied on alcohol or drugs because when you feel sad to numb your pain, learning to live life on life's terms says that I am going to learn how to deal with this discomfort in a way that is not destructive. And I'm going to have to learn how to be okay with maybe sitting with this discomfort of knowing that maybe I hurt my family with some of my actions. Maybe some of the stuff that I did in my life was not healthy. And I've got to be okay with sitting in that and saying, okay, I don't like how that feels. Now, how do I make a plan so that I don't continue to do this action? It's not about sitting in the discomfort so that you feel condemned. It's about saying, I feel it so that I'm going to allow that feeling to cause me to look for solutions that are healthy for me. So again, I want to be really clear. This is not about you feeling condemned, sitting in guilt or shame. That is not what we're saying. We're saying, feel it enough for you to say, hey, I don't like that feeling. And so I'm going to look and do the work that requires me to get out of this situation, or that allows me to get out of this situation. Okay. Another blocker for discipline is a negative mindset. Negative mindset is a huge blocker to discipline. What is a negative mindset? A mindset where you're being totally dominated by self-doubt, fear, the lack of confidence, believing that you can't do it, believing that it's too impossible, too hard. This will cause you to talk yourself out of discipline. You say it's not going to work for you, it's too hard, it's not going to make a difference. All of these things are ideas, or what's the word? They're signs that we are stuck in a negative mindset. So if you hear yourself saying stuff like, I just can't do that, that's you're probably falling into that negative mindset. This is just too hard. And again, I'm not talking about being abused or anything like that. I want to be clear on that. I'm talking about when it is, hey, I actually can be committed to maintaining my boundaries, even if it's uncomfortable for me to tell someone no when I usually tell them yes. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Being committed to, I'm going to eat healthy, even though I really, really want to go in there and get a big cheeseburger, even throw some bacon on it, load it up with some grilled onions. That's what I want for lunch. But that's not going to help me get to my goal. So I'm going to deal with the discomfort of not getting what I want, because I understand that the comfort of the goal will be worth it. So a negative mindset was the last blocker. The next blocker is the lack of accountability. The lack of accountability. Without accountability, you allow yourself to blame others or circumstances for your current state. So you don't look at the fact that you're not operating in discipline. You look at the fact that it's somebody else's fault. If they had done this, if they wouldn't have done that. So you don't hold yourself to a standard to cause you to continue in that action to reach the goal. I'm going to read that again. Without accountability, you allow yourself to blame others or circumstances for your current state. There has been somebody who had circumstances like yours or very similar who won and excelled. Now, we just got out of the Olympics, right? And during the Olympics, I really love hearing a lot of those triumphant kind of stories from the Olympics. You'll hear people like the last Olympics, I broke this bone and I didn't think I'd recover, but I did this and I did that. And I had to stay committed to the healing process. But now I'm here and I'm standing here with a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze medal. Or this thing happened in my personal life and I had to quit training for a while, but I had to get back into it and take that accountability, right? I was recently watching the Simone Biles documentary. I haven't finished it, but I watched, I think, the first 1 or 2 episodes. And in that, she talked about her struggles at Tokyo Olympics. And during the Olympics, you guys know she withdrew from some events and had to take care of her mental health. And one of the things that she was saying was she had to be responsible to doing the work to handle her own mental health, to prepare her to get back out there physically. She had to do the mental work to be able to get back out there physically. And one of the things she said that stuck out to me was, or one of the, I think, doctors on the documentary was saying, it wasn't necessarily the twisties, which is one of the things that she was dealing with, was not usually as a result of a physical pain or physical injury in gymnastics. It's typically emotional stuff that's not been dealt with, that's been buried. Okay. Why is this important? Because if you don't take accountability and say, this is my responsibility to deal with my emotional stuff, she could have forever blamed whatever for her not being able to go out there. But she said, I've got to take accountability and responsibility to do this healing work. And as she was doing that, she began to go back into the gym and begin to work on her skills even more. And of course, we know came home with all these various gold medals from the Paris Olympics. Why? Because she was committed to saying, I'm not going to blame other people. I am simply going to take accountability for my life. And I'm going to take the disciplined route, which is I'm going to stay committed to therapy. I'm going to stay committed to going to the gym sometime or resting, because a part of it was her resting and not going to the gym for a while until she was emotionally and mentally ready to go back. So it's looking at your life and saying, I'm going to take accountability without blaming other people, and I'm going to take the responsibility to do the work. Here's another one that a lot of people don't think about, is a blocker to discipline: the need for approval from others. The need for approval from others. Y'all share and tag and tell me what you're getting from this in the comment. The need for approval from others. When you are disciplined, it actually can make other people uncomfortable. If you are disciplined all the time and you are around people who lack discipline, it can make them uncomfortable. It highlights their lack of discipline. But so when you let your discipline slip, it makes them feel better. So they feel better about not being disciplined. Right? So again, I'm going to say that it highlights their lack of discipline. And when you let your discipline slip, it makes them feel better, so that you will often have other people trying to get you to not be as disciplined because they don't want to feel uncomfortable with what they're doing because of your discipline. Have you ever been around somebody, whether you were the one that was being really disciplined and they were trying to get you to let down your guard, or vice versa? You were trying to, oh, come on, let's just eat it anyways. Oh, come on, let's cuss them out anyways. Let's do this anyways. Why? Because you holding a standard of that discipline shows that they're not holding that same standard. Now, why is this? What does this have to do with needing approval? Well, if you need their approval, I'm going to read it the way I put it down. Let's see. If you need their approval, you will allow their need for comfort to pull on your need for approval, thus causing you to release your discipline needed to get to your healed place. I'm going to read that again. If you need their approval, you will allow their need for comfort to pull on your need for approval, thus causing you to release the discipline needed to get to your healed place. That's really powerful. Because you want to be disciplined, but because it's going to make them uncomfortable, you want them to approve of you so much, you release your discipline so that they will approve of you, so that they are not uncomfortable. But guess what? You sabotage yourself walking into that healed place. So here's some examples, right? If you're trying to heal from a breakup and you are around some friends and they tell you, you know what, girl, just call so-and-so, we just call and make a quick, booty call, if you will. And that will allow you to feel, you don't have to be connected emotionally, just get what you need and go. But you know that that's going to sabotage your healing journey. You know that you could make that call. You could make probably a number of calls, and you could have somebody at your house, or you could be at somebody's house. You know that that's a possibility, a real likely strong possibility, right? You know that could happen, but you also know that it's going to sabotage your healing, or not sabotage totally, but it may derail, it may hinder your healing, or at least cause it to pause for a while. But if you don't want to hurt their feelings and you want them to approve of you, you may do that because you don't want them to feel like you're judging them. And you say, no, that's not going to help me on my healing journey. I know that's what you do when you start to feel lonely, but that's not going to help me on my healing journey. And so you may follow advice or wisdom from people that actually is not designed to help you. Let me know if that's making sense. Okay. I've done this with friends. You're going and they say, I'm not eating so-and-so. And then you go out and you want to eat it. And you're like, go ahead and eat the cake, right? Why are you saying go ahead and eat the cake? Because you want to justify you eating the cake and you don't want to feel bad. And so you don't want to be that person that's working against your friend's discipline, but you also don't want to be the person that allows your friend's lack of discipline to work against you. Okay. Another blocker for discipline is distractions. All distractions are not bad. Okay. So sometimes we think distractions have to be, some craziness. Sometimes it's really simple. It's you say, I'm going to be committed to working out in the morning time. I'm going to be committed. I'm actually, let me use a different example. I've been using that one a lot. Let's say you're going to be committed to doing the internal work to heal, right? You're going to be committed to going to therapy and doing the work. Well, you start being committed, you start going, and you notice, hey, you're having some issues, your family's having some issues. And so you stop going to therapy because you start taking care of everybody. You start taking all their phone calls. You start, I can't do that today because the kids have this. So all of these aren't bad things, right? But they are distracting you from the goal that you have. You have to recognize that just because something is a good cause doesn't mean it's necessarily for you. For example, there are millions of causes that we could get involved in every day. But some of those causes, though they may be good, may not be connected to your destiny. They may not be connected to you doing the things that you need to do. So, for example, I want the world to be a healthy place. I want us to have clean air. I want the animals to have a good habitat. I want the industries to be able to prosper and all of those things, right? But if I get caught up in a program about saving the whales, that's not the thing that God has put in my heart to do. At least not at this time in my life. And he's never given me that unction that it will ever be a big part of my life. If even though that may be a good cause and saving the whales may be great, if it's distracting me from doing the things that I need to be doing, I am operating out of order. Okay. So though you're doing something good, it doesn't mean that you are actually operating in discipline, because you're still not doing the thing that is going to get you to the place where you were created to operate. Okay. So don't get distracted by good causes, or even sometimes we get distracted by drama and trauma, right? So drama and trauma can also be distractions. Oh my gosh, my sister has another situation. Oh my gosh, my brothers are they're needing me for this. And we get so distracted in trying to put out everybody else's fire that we don't realize that we're not doing the things that are helping us get to our own destination. How many of you have ever committed to doing something and you allowed somebody else's emergency to become your priority? You just go ahead and make a comment. If you've ever done that, put your hand up or say me in the comments or something. If you've ever said, I'm going to be committed to doing the thing that God put in my heart, or something that I know is going to help me on this healing journey, but then you allow everybody else's emergency to become your priority, go ahead and just say, I'm done with that, and stay committed. What do I mean? You are committed to doing this work, and then your kids start calling you, Mama, I'm talking about your grown kids. I'm not talking about a kid who needs you to do these things. I'm talking about some of your grown kids who are doing all. Why? These are actually distractions. It doesn't mean you can't help your children or your family or whatever, but it's one of those things where you have to say, but that's not what God called me to do in this season. And if that's not what God called me to do in this season, I can't allow everybody else's emergency. And sometimes their emergency, let's be honest, is a lack of planning on their part. And because they didn't plan, now they are scrambling and they're going, I need you right now. And so now you think you have to drop everything in order to be there for them. And that's simply not the case. Or if you say, in order for me to be in an emotionally better place, I need to work on my finances because that's a big stressor for me. And so you're working and you're saving, and then your family starts saying, oh, we need money for this thing. Oh, so-and-so got in trouble again. We need money for that to help them get out of that. Oh, they didn't have life insurance. So now we need some more of your money to help them get buried. Guess what? You're never going to hit your goal because you're constantly bailing out people who did not plan effectively or properly. You are not, this may hurt somebody. You are not the savior. You are not the savior. Okay. So distractions can be legit. They can be concerns for family members. They can be funny distractions. Social media can be a distraction. Stressful situations, relational problems can be a distraction, but you have to be clear that your goal still requires action, and you still need to stay committed to those actions, regardless of what's going on. Now, what's the next blocker? You don't have a clear or big enough why. Sometimes our why is simply just a really weak why. So if I tell you right now, you need to stop drinking soda if you're a soda drinker, and you go, why? Oh, because I don't know. I think your skin will look better. And you look in the mirror and you go, my skin looks pretty good. That's not a good enough reason for me to stop drinking soda. I'm going to keep drinking soda. But if a doctor comes in and says your liver is all messed up and soda is causing problems with it, if you don't stop drinking soda, it's going to kill you. Well, your why just got a lot bigger, didn't it? You can give yourself a big enough why without it being a emergency. You can assign a better or stronger why before it becomes to life or death situations. Okay. So an example is, I want to take care of my body. I want to emotionally heal because I don't want to pass down trauma to my children. I want my children to grow up and have a healthy relationship. I want my kids to grow up and be healthy emotionally and physically and financially. So your why may be because I want to leave a great legacy. I want to do this because God told me to do it. And I prize his word above my comfort. Your why has to be big enough, though, that is not just superficial. Right. So we've been doing what we call these empowerment summits, where we go to different communities, particularly kind of rural communities, and we are working on in helping people improve their life, their physical and emotional lifestyles, right? Well, some of the things that we've run into is that the mindset or their why has not been developed. So if you say, hey, you need to stop eating so much salt and sugar and you need to exercise and drink more water, their why isn't strong enough. But when you start to say, why? Because you're not going to be here another 15 years if you continue on this path. You're not going to be able to see your children graduate, or your grandchildren, or maybe you'll be here, but you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to be able to run and play with your grandchildren in the yard. Then that why it begins to shift, because they're able to say, hey, I want to be able to enjoy my grandchildren. I want to be able to leave a legacy for my children. So I'm going to be willing to do the work now that I have a big enough why. You've got to have a strong why. Otherwise, when things come, it's really easy to stop. With taking care of your health, it has to be more than I just want to look good for my reunion coming up. If that's the case, you'll only do it during that time for the reunion and you'll stop. Or you may even convince yourself you look good enough for the reunion and you'll stop. You have to do it. It has to be stronger than a superficial reason, for consistency's sake. Many people never experience healing because they allow these blockers to keep them from being disciplined. Now, I talked a lot about physical stuff, but I want us to know that this is also about our emotional well-being. One of the things that my husband taught me, he said, he was married before and lost his wife. And he said, going through that process, he did the same thing every morning. He got up and he read the guiding word, which was a prophecy given to his church, or the church we attend. And he got in the word every single morning. Now imagine, think about that. You're grieving, but every day you stay consistent with reading the word and reading the prophecy. Why is that important to healing? Because it keeps the healing, or it keeps that prophecy. It kept the word of God in front of him at all times. Y'all hearing me? He stayed committed to a path that created a sense of structure and normalcy in the home. You have to know that discipline is the thing that you may be missing that is keeping you from actually experiencing the healing that you so desperately desire. If you give up in the middle because it's hard, discipline is the thing that you need to incorporate. If you give up because it seems uncomfortable, discipline is the thing, not just motivation. Many of us wake up every morning and we may feel motivated today. We may not feel motivated tomorrow. There are days when I do wake up and I go, I'm ready to work out today. I hope it's leg day. I'm excited. And there are other days when I wake up and I go, yeah, I do not want to get out of this bed. Motivation cannot be the thing that you rely on. It has to be discipline, which says, I'm going to do this consistently, even when I don't feel like it. Y'all let me know, do you have any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? So I want us to commit to operating in discipline. And one of the things that people often say is that, hey, I can't be consistent, or I'm just not disciplined. It gets too hard. Start is the key. Start with being disciplined in one area. Yes, motivation cannot be the thing we rely on. It has to be discipline. Now, when I say start, there is a rule. I'm trying to think of the name of the book. It's called something about habits. I don't remember it now. I read it a couple years ago. Atomic Habits. That's the name of it. I recommend that book if you haven't read that book, Atomic Habit. It gives a lot of practical steps to, and I may even talk about that more during this kind of healing series. But Atomic Habits, one of the things that he teaches this rule of 2 minutes, and it says if you don't want to do something to practice or to build up consistency, you say I'm going to do it for 2 minutes. Why is that? Because it is a hack to get your mind to say, I can do it for 2 minutes. So if you go, I need to work out, I don't want to work out. Well, you know what? I'm going to at least go walking for 2 minutes. Well, what happens when you're walking for 2 minutes? You get out there and realize I'm out here now. I might as well keep going. But even if I don't keep going, I broke the inconsistency by doing it anyways. And so I started creating that pattern that every day I still get out there, or 3 times a week or 5 times a week, or whatever my goal is. I get out there and I do it. But oftentimes what will happen is once we actually break over that 2 minute mark, what we will see is that it's not that bad. Or you may say, I need to read that book. Oh, that book is so long. I'm going to read this book for 2 minutes. Well, once you start reading, you go, well, I'm not going to quit in the middle of the page. I'm going to go ahead and finish this page. And you look, well, I only have 5 more pages left. I might as well finish this chapter, right? So sometimes it is learning little small hacks. Another thing he taught in that book was putting things in place that makes doing those things easier. For example, if you know you need to, again, working out. So setting my clothes out in the morning or at nighttime helps me when if I lay in bed a few minutes longer, I go, well, I still can make it because my clothes are laid out. All I have to do is get up, slip my clothes on. I can be out the door in no time, right? And so creating those ways for you to eat healthier, to consistently go to therapy. You go, well, therapy is difficult for me because of my schedule. Set a time. Most people that do well with therapy consistently, they will say, I want this time every week. Thursday at 3:00 every week. Why? Because that way they start making plans around it. So make discipline a part of your life so it's easier to navigate around it. But if you go from week to week, and some people do that because their work schedules change or whatever, right? But if from week to week you go, next week, I can't do it, then what you're not making that a priority. But I would say build your life around where you want to go, right? Not allowing things to just happen to you, but you set the priority, and that way you fit it around those things. If you say I have therapy every Thursday, when someone else comes and say you want to do so-and-so Thursday at 3:00, you go, oh, I can't do it Thursday at 3 because I have a standing appointment, but I could do it Friday at 3. Why? But if you don't have that standing appointment, then it's really easier for you to be able to just kind of let life happen. And again, it comes and it robs you of getting to that place. So I hope this helped you guys. If it did, let me know your biggest takeaway in the comment section. Let me know your biggest takeaway. I want to remind you guys that I am still accepting new therapy and coaching clients. Therapy, I'm only licensed in the state of Arkansas and Georgia. So if you're needing therapy, that I can only see you if you are in those states. Or if I know you personally and I can't work with you, I can refer you to someone. If you are out of those states or if you just need some coaching and you say, hey, it's not about states, it's about what I need. If you need coaching, I do relationship coaching, singles coaching, mindset coaching, just life coaching in general. If you need some coaching, reach out to me. Let me know. I do have some spaces. I also have some packages for coaching. I'm pretty excited. I've been excited about these packages where if you say, I want a couple of my friends and we get together and kind of go on a healing journey together, but just 3 or 4 of us, I have some package deals that would be great if you want to kind of work together with some people, because sometimes people aren't ready to go on that journey by themselves. So again, if you're interested in any of those types of things, let me know. I will be happy to help you. If you need to reach me, you can give me a call at 470-410-9790. Again, that's 470-410-9790. Or you can shoot me an email at tenetria@gmail.com. I will be happy to hear from you. Let me know. And if you know of someone who needs counseling or coaching and they don't watch the broadcast, share this broadcast with them. or just send them my contact information. I would be happy to help. Thank you guys so much. Join us right back here next week. This is the month of August, and we're talking about healing. And I'm really excited because I believe we have to look at these components that may be blocking us from experiencing the healing that God has already created for us. And I will see you guys. Thank you so much, Tanisha. Thank you for joining us. Share this broadcast, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.